Human trafficking is on the rise, and South Africa, unfortunately, remains one of the world's top transit and destination countries. A CIA report has shown that government doesn't meet the standards for the elimination of trafficking, but is making significant strides to do so. And Durban is a major hotspot due to the harbour, and various organizations are highlighting trafficking with a peaceful march today along the promenade. Our reporter Lethiwe Mdluli is there and joins me now. Lethiwe, good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this is a very alarming report that shows that South Africa is one of the top countries in the world for human trafficking. In terms of the organizers of this march and what their grievances are, what can you tell us?
Well, Cindy, today we saw various organizations here in Durban coming together and basically marching along the promenade because they wanted to highlight the scourge of human trafficking and the increasing numbers that are very alarming. When I spoke to some of the independent activists that formed part of the march today, they did mention that Durban, more specifically, is becoming a hotspot due to the Durban harbour. They are seeing that South Africa as a whole is a destination country for human trafficking, and cities that have ports, unfortunately, are hotspot areas. They are saying that the numbers have risen since COVID-19, or just after COVID-19, by 43%. And that report by the CIA did indicate that, unfortunately, because the numbers are increasing, government needs to come to the fore as well and fight the scourge of human trafficking. Most vulnerable groups are those that are children and also women, and those people that do not have jobs, who are unemployed, who can easily fall victim to such advertisements when there's job advertisements that are there in the newspapers. And we did hear from the activists today that they are warning residents against basically just going to the newspaper, dialing the number and going to see someone without actually verifying their information. There were various groups today, Cindy, that joined in to raise awareness on human trafficking, including the police and the Hawks as well. Most of these organizations are working with these organizations because they are trying to fight the increasing numbers. When I spoke to an independent activist a bit earlier on the aim for their march and why they took to the streets today, this is what she had to say.
As a person myself that's experienced as a survivor, has experienced firsthand in terms of gender-based violence, a survivor of rape, I believe it's interlinked. Everything is interlinked in terms of gender-based violence, femicide and human trafficking. And today's event is to raise awareness and be proactive rather than reactive, bringing communities together, bringing corporates together so that people can rather be more proactive, more educated, that this is literally happening at your doorstep and next door to you, literally.
And Lethiwe, let's look at the success rate, of this collaborative, multidisciplinary investigations that are currently underway, the success rate thereof. Are you able to give us an indication from speaking with the Hawks and the police services if they are really even making much of an impact in dealing with human trafficking?
Well, Cindy, most of the reports that have come out are saying that government is working hard in trying to bring these perpetrators to book, and there are initiatives by governments that are working, but unfortunately it does seem as if the government, including the police and the Hawks, need to do more to bring the perpetrators to book. And because South Africa has become a destination country for human traffickers, they are saying that they need to work with international groups as well to basically find out or adopt some of the initiatives that other countries have used so that they can bring the numbers down. In speaking to some of the organizations, they did say that here in KwaZulu-Natal, there is a committee that is mostly focused on human trafficking, and they are working together with this committee. But unfortunately, they do feel as if more needs to be done because with the numbers increasing, they are seeing that these initiatives that are in place, unfortunately, are not working. They are saying that also the public needs to be aware aware. They just need to know where to go and what to do if they are faced with this, because what they're seeing as well on the streets is that a lot of people are just not aware of their surroundings, and they can then fall victim to human traffickers. I spoke to one individual as well who has an organization that works with people who have been human trafficked, and also who raise awareness as to how people can avoid being human trafficked, and as well as working with the police as well to deal with people that have been human trafficked. She spoke about the people that are mostly at danger, which is children. She is saying that they're seeing that more and more victims are children, and these people are now targeting schools, and mostly it has to do with organ harvesting, saying that a lot of people traffic kids and then they steal their organs and then they sell them off. It has become a big business, not just in South Africa but internationally. When I spoke to her, or when she was addressing rather the crowd that had gathered in Durban during that march, this is what she had to say.
We don't just focus on human trafficking and the prevention of that and being victim focused as well. There is the preventative side, which affects everybody. So socioeconomic downturn is the poverty decline, which has hit South Africa. I wouldn't say hit, it has been there, but it has worsened, especially post-COVID. So when disasters, like for example, we had disasters in KZN that took place, Act Africa came on board, and of course we took hands with USEC to then make a difference in KZN as best as we could in providing social relief like food packs to people who are affected by the atrocities, by the disasters which have taken place, like the flooding, like the unrest which took place, etc.
Lethiwe, you're talking about being vigilant and observant of your surroundings, and not just walking around blind of what could be potential danger. But the human trafficking phenomenon is not unique to Durban or South Africa or the continent. It is a very sophisticated, well-organized, orchestrated syndicates around the world, and it would need for communities to come forward if they have any information or suspect that there may be human trafficking in their area. Was this necessarily emphasized in your view to say that policing is one thing, but we also as communities need to add to that vigilance? Lethiwe? All right, I think Lethiwe's comms, as we call it, might have just packed up. But that's Lethiwe Mdluli, my colleague who's out in Durban. Community members marching against human trafficking. A CIA report indicating that Durban has been listed as one of the top hotspots for human trafficking.